what is one of the busiest weekends of the year for us. Last year, we recorded 92,000 visitors over the course of Memorial Day weekend, which is more than what 150 national park sites experience in a year. So quite a lot of folks. Zion National Park wants to make sure that folks are aware of what to expect this weekend. So really comes down to lots of traffic, long lines at our entrance stations, at our trailheads, at restrooms. We anticipate heavy traffic throughout SR9, town of Springdale, and within Zion Canyon. We also expect lengthy waits at both our Springdale shuttle line and our Zion Canyon shuttle line. And we want people to be aware that if we determine that parking inside the park is full, we will have to turn people around at both our south entrance and our east entrance to prevent gridlock. So if you want to help out, if you like to make it up to Zion, you're of course more than welcome. But if you're willing to not take your car, would love to draw your attention to the City of St. George's Suntran Zion route, which begins at the Dixie Center in St. George and comes all the way up to Springdale at Lion Boulevard, which is within walking distance to our pedestrian entrance. So that would be a great way to help us out, not take your car and ride that bus up to Zion. Additionally, the Utah Department of Transportation just launched their Zion Area Initiative, which is under their Roads to Recreations program. They do have a website and a presence on Facebook and Instagram, and their goal is to provide real-time updates on road conditions, traffic conditions, and parking around Zion National Park. So encourage folks to check that out. If anyone wants to come through Zion, but not necessarily stop in Zion National Park, there are alternate routes that we recommend since we do expect heavy traffic, long wait times, especially at our Mount Carmel Tunnel, where oversized vehicles may stop traffic in one direction for long periods of time. So those alternate routes are Utah State 20, Utah State 14, and taking US 18 to Arizona 389 to Utah 59. We got exciting news also this Memorial weekend. Our Nature Center is opening today on Friday, May 23rd. The Nature Center is for families and kids. We have 2 Junior Ranger programs given by Rangers tailored to kids every day. And we'll be open from 9 to, excuse me, I'm going to start that one over again. So exciting news this Memorial Day weekend. The Zion Nature Center is opening today, May 23rd. It'll be open from noon to 5 every day between now and Labor Day weekend. And please stop by. We give 2 programs a day tailored to kids and families, and it's a wonderful opportunity for folks to have FaceTime with our Rangers. Got a little bit more here. So heading into Memorial Day, with how busy it will be, we do like to remind folks of our basic safety tips. Number 1 is to plan ahead and be prepared before you come to the park. We want folks to realize that Zion is in the desert, which means that we can experience extreme environments. It can get really hot, and also it can get really cold in the river and in the Virgin River. So we encourage people to check conditions before they come to the park. And if you do make it to the park and you want to check in on those conditions again, we do have rangers at our visitor center that have that information readily available. Overall advice for coming out and hiking in the park is bringing 1 gallon per person per day, as well as plenty of salty snacks, so you can safely recreate for hours at a time, no matter how hot it gets, and avoid having us coming out and coming to rescue you, which does happen multiple times a day around this time of year. Another thing we want people to know is to be aware of their surroundings. So obviously in Zion, we have extremely high cliffs, and the risk of falling is very real. So what we encourage people to realize is that don't approach, I'm going to start that one again. So for people coming to the park, we also want them to be aware of their surroundings. Zion has very steep cliff edges throughout the park, and oftentimes we do see visitors approaching that cliff edge, trying to get the best shot for their camera, for their photo album later on, but it's not worth the risk of falling. So definitely be aware of heights when you're recreating throughout the park. We also want folks to be aware of flash floods. So we abide by the National Weather Service's flash flood potential rating system. And just so folks are aware, we do have that information posted in our visitor center as well as on signs throughout the park, especially at the entrance to Riverside Walk, which leads to the Narrows. So do be aware of that before you come to the park. Also, we want folks to be aware of rockfall, which can happen at any time. Rockfall is one of the things that makes Zion what it is. What Zion is as a canyon is simply a bunch of rockfalls that have happened over hundreds of millions of years to make it look as beautiful as it does today. So ultimately, what that means is staying away from, again, cliff edges with rock walls overhanging. But if you are in areas like that, just being aware of any cracking noises, and if you do hear cracking noises, definitely get away from that cliff edge as fast as possible. And last general advice we're going to cover, if you do find yourself lost or injured on a trail, there are several steps that you could take to get help. Number one is look for a ranger. We do have rangers doing what we call preventative search and rescue roves throughout the park. They have radios, they can communicate with our dispatch team. However, if you can't find a ranger, find a visitor, another hiker, because a lot of our reports that initiate search and rescues actually do originate from Good Samaritans who come across somebody who's injured or lost on a trail. And they're able to walk themselves back to somewhere where they can find a ranger and then let us know. If you do find, or if you're unable to find a ranger or another visitor, then try and call 911. That does work despite not having cell phone coverage most of the time, and that will connect you to either our dispatch team or that of Washington County. And finally, once you do get help, once you're lost or injured on a trail, take shelter from the elements, try and find some shade, try and find somewhere secluded where you can wait safely until help arrives. All right, almost done. So again, to touch on folks needing to be prepared, planning to be safe, I wanted to share current conditions in the Virgin River, which will affect those that are planning on a Narrows hike, which is very popular. So the current temperature for the Virgin River is 56 degrees Fahrenheit, which is quite cold. So those that come out here and it's sunny and it's warm, it's 80 plus degrees, may not realize that once they get into the Virgin River, that the coldness of that water does kind of seep the heat from your body, and it is entirely possible to get hypothermia in temperatures that low in the river. So what we want folks to be aware of is to always wear the proper equipment. There is no required equipment to go into the Narrows, but we generally recommend closed-toed shoes, waders, which you can find out in town. We have plenty of retailers in the town of Springdale who sell these items. And those waders will protect you from the water. And then also a nice walking stick that'll help you keep your balance, because at various points in the Narrows, you will find yourself between knee-deep to chest-deep in water. Also, the Virgin River, no, I think I'm done with that, sorry. Again, I want to encourage folks to check the National Weather Service website to get the latest in flash flood potential ratings. For today, Friday, May 23rd, we are at the lowest rating, which is flash floods are not expected. But always encourage you to check for yourself. So that website is weather.gov/SLC for Salt Lake City /flash flood. That will have the most up-to-date information on Zion National Park and the flash flood potential rating. And 3 more things I want to cover. So our Emerald Pools Bridge does remain closed. We do estimate it'll take a few more weeks to get that open. And so how that affects people is if folks want to hike the Emerald Pools trails, they'll have to ride our Zion Canyon shuttle line all the way up to the grotto, which is stop number 6. as opposed to stop number 5, which is the Zion Lodge. So again, if you'd like to reach the Emerald Pools, you would have to go up to the Grotto, shuttle stop 6. Also, our West Rim trailhead access is closed off right now. So what that means is we have road work. I'm going to start that again, but I am going to share something for y'all. 1 second. Share my screen. What we got here? Okay. Okay, so this map right here, which hopefully everyone can see. Okay. So between now and what we estimate is May 28th, access to the West Rim trailhead will be limited because we've closed off a part of the West Rim road, which you can see here in red, for road improvements. So what that means is that folks who want to access the West Rim trailhead between now and May 28th will have to drive up the road to Lava Point Overlook. And there are 2 places that they can park this day use parking area here, which is at Lava Point Campground. Lava Point Campground is currently closed to camping, but open for day use parking. Or they can park at Lava Point Overlook. And then from there, as you can see the green lines here, they can walk to access the West Rim trailhead throughout that last portion of the West Rim Road that is not closed. And then, final thing I wanted to cover, just that Lava Point Campground does remain closed, and it is a day use parking area while we are making those West Rim Road improvements. Okay, so that's it for me. Now I can open it up for questions. So is there anything that I talked about that you'd like me to repeat or to clarify in any way before we get into other questions? Okay, looks like we're good. All right, in that case, we have about 13 minutes. I can open it up for questions, and I'll obviously take them one at a time. If you're able to raise your hand in the Teams portal, please do so. But if not, just drop your question in the chat or unmute yourself. Yeah, Alexandria, go ahead.
I'm just wondering, how do you prepare your rangers for like really busy weekends like this?
Yeah, great question. So Zion National Park, sorry, I want to start that again. Woo. So at Zion, we prepare for quite a while for Memorial Day weekend. As I said, it is one of the busiest weekends of the year. So we build out schedules. We increase staff over the weekend. We increase those preventative search and rescue roves that I talked about. But really, we just try and prepare our staff realistically for the influx of people that they're going to see. And we arm them with as much information as we can. Everything that I just described to you has been passed on to our staff. So really, it's just about arming our rangers as best we can with what to expect and what to communicate to visitors. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, on this more or less on the same subject, how with all these cutbacks and layoffs and the hiring freeze and what have you, do you and your staff feel shorthanded? With that, of course, all that happened under the current administration.
Yeah. Totally appreciate the question. Appreciate why you're asking. So Zion National Park is fully prepared for Memorial Day weekend in terms of staffing. And like I said, we just prepare as best we can in terms of getting ourselves ready for the influx of visitors, doing stuff like this, media outreach, community outreach. I'm about to go walk SR9 and pass out flyers to businesses and just ask for as much help as we can from the outside community. We're all in this together, and we're going to be ready for what comes.
I mean, obviously, visitors who have been paying attention to the news, or potential visitors, that we have talked to, they anticipate repercussions from what's been happening. You guys might be prepared for this weekend, but down the line, I mean, do you see repercussions from what's happening with as far as the layoffs and hiring freeze and people just resigning?
Sure. So what I can say is that stuff that's staffing issues, things that are handled at the management level, is not something that we can control, and not something that would help us perform our jobs better. We just do what we can every day, come to work ready to go, ready to serve the American people, ready to perform our mission, which is protecting and preserving the natural resources and cultural resources of this park. So, no matter what happens in terms of, budgeting or staffing levels, we will continue to perform this mission every day.
But I mean, I guess you can understand though why potential visitors might be concerned that if they did get in a predicament, that there might not be rangers available to help.
Sure. So, when you say predicament, I guess, can you be more specific?
Well, like you went over several scenarios just during the course of the top of this call.
Sure.
If they get in trouble, they get lost.
Sure.
They fall, things of that nature.
Yeah. So, strictly in terms of search and rescue, I can say that we have a robust search and rescue team. But of course, every team has its limits. If there are multiple calls that come in at one time, then we may have to call upon our partners, like Washington County, Springdale Town. They have the Hurricane Valley Fire and Rescue Team that helps us out quite often with our search and rescues. We also work with the Utah Highway Patrol. They help us hoist people out with helicopters. So it really is a team effort that extends beyond just the Zion Search and Rescue Team. So we just take it on a situation by situation basis. But our number one priority is, of course, visitor safety, and we will get the job done.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Any more questions? Go ahead, Mark.
Yes. Could you just give us your title?
Sure. Yeah, sorry, I should have opened with that. So, my name is Matthew Fink, spelled Matthew, F as in Foxtrot, INK, and I am the Public Affairs Specialist for Zion National Park. You can also just call me a spokesperson for Zion National Park.
Once again, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. All right, covered a lot. Any more questions? All right, seeing none.
I'll throw one more out there.
Go ahead, Mark.
Again, kind of on the same topic we were just discussing.
Sure.
For you personally, do you see? Are you concerned about staffing issues
Sure.
and maybe also as well as seeing some of your colleagues leave?
Sure. So I'd say, in my, I speak for the Park Service and Zion National Park in my role. So it wouldn't really be appropriate for me to comment on, how I feel personally or what my personal views are. But like I said before, we are in a time of change with the federal government. That, of course, is obvious to anybody. And all we can do is show up every day, do our jobs, like I said, which is protecting and preserving this wonderful park and helping visitors be safe and enjoy their experience.
Once again, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Cool. All right, I'm going to hang out, but feel free